Hi students, good morning. Now in this class we are going to see entropy. Entropy is one of the thermodynamic property. It was introduced in 19th century by the scientist Rudolf Clausius. This is related with the energy and heat. Entropy is the measure of the disorder of the system. Before we enter into entropy, we will see what is spontaneity and reversibility. Spontaneity. Spontaneous process is a process. It takes place by itself without any external forces. Any process will be spontaneous in one direction. All the natural processes are spontaneous. So it is an irreversible process. For example, when we see a rock naturally rolls down a hill, it's a spontaneous process. It must be pushed back up. It's a non-spontaneous process. A hot object naturally cools. It's a spontaneous process. Next, we'll see what is reversibility. Reversibility is nothing but it's a process where the process is taking place in both the forward as well as the backward direction. Irreversible process is a process. It takes place only in one direction. All the reversible process produces maximum possible work. Now we'll see what is entropy. Entropy is the measure of the disorder of the system. When we have more states, more entropy will be there. It's a state function. It depends upon the initial as well as the final state of the system. It doesn't depend upon the pathway. The entropy change for a process is given by delta S. Usually, the delta S is indicating change in entropy that is equal to entropy of the final state to the entropy of the initial state. System moves spontaneously to a state of a greater entropy to greater distribution of energy. Entropy and solubility. There is a relationship between entropy and solubility. Hydration increases entropy of the ions in the lattice. The ions in solution have greater disorder but can decrease the entropy of the solvent because the solvent has got greater order. Now this entropy will be related with Boltzmann constant, that is S equal to K ln K, where S is the entropy, K is a Boltzmann constant. It is related by K is equal to R by Na and W is number of possible way the molecules arranged. Now we'll see what is the unit for this entropy. Now the unit for entropy is Joule per Kelvin because the entropy is given it as Q by T, where Q is nothing but the quantity of the heat supplied to the system and the temperature. T is temperature. The quantity of the heat supplied will be given by the unit Joule or calorie and the temperature is given by Kelvin. So it is equivalent to Joule per Kelvin. Entropy and temperature. When temperature increases, entropy of the system increases. So in the first category, it has got higher temperature. So the entropy is greater. The disorder is greater. In the second one, the second diagram, low temperature is there. So the entropy will be lesser. Standard molar entropy. The standard molar entropy represented by the symbol S naught. It is nothing but the entropy of the 1 mole of the pure substance at 1 atmospheric pressure measuring at 25 degrees centigrade. Usually the standard molar entropy will be experimentally determined by using heat capacity measurements. Comparison of different substance. And suppose when we take these two chart, the first one is nothing but gases. The second one is nothing but the liquids. Now here in this case, usually the gaseous substance will be having highest entropy compared to that of the liquid one and compared to that of the solids. The standard entropy of reaction. Usually the standard entropy of the reaction will be given by, as I told you already, the S naught is in representing standard entropy. So delta S naught is equal to S naught of the product minus S naught of the reactant. When we see the reaction, N2O4 is converted to 2NO2. The product side has got more number of molecules than reactant side. So delta S0 is equal to 2 S0 of product. That means nothing but the NO2 minus S0 of the N2O4. So products have more particles than reactant, predicting entropy change from chemical equation by counting particles. So by using the above one, there are 3 results obtained. So the total entropy depends upon the entropy of the system plus entropy of the surroundings. If total entropy is greater than 0, the process is spontaneous. If it is lesser than 0, the process is non-spontaneous. If it is equal to 0, the process is at equilibrium. Now we'll see what is free energy. Free energy is nothing but the energy of the system. Since delta S total is obtained from delta S system as well as delta S surroundings, and also it depends upon the delta H system. The delta H is nothing but the enthalpy of the system. So Gibbs free energy will be given by G is equal to H minus Ts. The change of free energy will be given by delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S, and this delta G is also a state function. It depends upon the initial and final state of the system, doesn't depend upon the pathway. So delta G is indicator of spontaneity. Now with the help of this delta G also, we can say whether the process is a spontaneous process or non-spontaneous process. If delta G is lesser than 0, the reaction is always spontaneous. If it is greater than 0, it is a non-spontaneous. And delta G is 0, we can say that the reaction is at equilibrium. Gibbs free energy is a measure of the total entropy change. Now there are 4 possible conditions. With the help of this value delta S, and if you know the value of delta G, with the help of that we are able to calculate delta G. So by using this delta G and delta S and delta H, we can predict whether the process is a spontaneous process or non-spontaneous process. When we see delta G and delta H, both are negative value, but if delta S is positive, we say that the process is spontaneous at all temperature. The example is nothing but when nitrogen dioxide is converted to nitrogen and oxygen. And now when we take delta G and delta S and delta H, if all the 3 values are negative, the process is spontaneous at low temperature. At the same time, delta S and delta H is negative, but delta G is positive. The process is non-spontaneous at high temperature. Example, formation of ammonia. Now the third one, when delta G and delta H is positive, delta S is negative, means it's a non-spontaneous at all temperature. That is the conversion of oxygen into ozone is an example. And when delta H and delta S and delta G, all the 3 are positive, then process is as non-spontaneous at low temperature. But at the same time, when delta S and delta H is positive, delta G is negative, the process is spontaneous at high temperature. Example, mercurous chloride is converted to mercury and oxygen. So now, after seeing the entropy, after seeing the value of delta G, now we'll see the relationship between entropy, free energy, and equilibrium. Now already we have seen that delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. This delta G is nothing but change in free energy. Delta H is nothing but change in enthalpy. Delta S is change in entropy. Now, if we know the delta S value, provided delta H value is known, we are able to calculate delta G. If we know the delta G value, the delta G is related with the equilibrium by the equation of delta G is equal to RT ln K. So if we know the value of delta G, we are able to calculate the chemical equilibrium. So this is the relationship between entropy, enthalpy, free energy, and chemical equilibrium. Thank you.